Hey everybody, welcome to the first Disc Golf Pro Tour event of 2020. This is the Memorial Championship. I'm Madison Walker.
And I'm Missy Gannon.
Thank you guys for coming and hanging out with us. The Memorial Championship is presented by Discraft and such forth. We have a Discraft feature card. Paige Pierce, Missy Gannon, and Hailey King all on the women's team for Discraft, and Evelina Salonen, who won this event last year in 2019. We're starting round one at Fountain Hills. It is one of the more challenging courses and more challenging starting holes we play all year long. Lots of water, lots of places to lose discs. But we had a really nice windless afternoon.
Yeah, it was actually really beautiful. Other than the fountain going off, adding a little bit of wind here and there, it was really, really calm. Hole one is a par 3, 318 feet. As you can see, we're carrying water for almost the entire flight. You can kind of bail out to the right if you're not feeling it right off the bat. It is hole one. You know, jitters are still quite there. So you can bail out to the right, or you can, a lot of us can reach this hole. So if you want to get aggressive right off the bat, you can absolutely try and do that.
Discraft, Grip, and OTB from Plano, Texas. It's Paige Pierce.
So first on the tee is Paige Pierce. She will be throwing a Raptor on this hole. It's a nice overstable fairway driver. We all know she is probably trying to get the birdie on this hole for sure.
Yeah, Paige is always going to do the aggressive play. Looks right on line. The only real change to this hole is they added some out of bounds a little bit tighter than we're used to because they added a new hole. So you will see you're not able to go as far to the right for the safe play.
Evelina, our returning champion, she will be throwing a destroyer off the tee. Again, I imagine she is trying to get this hole. And yeah, right there, she's just outside circle one, it looks like. It is a scary putt. It's a little downhill, straight at the water. And again, just hope that the jitters are going down by this point.
Super excited to watch Hailey King throw all day today. She's one of my favorite FPO players.
Drives a little low, but it's safe. She went with an Onyx off the tee.
Onyx is a distance driver?
That is a fairway driver.
Fairway driver, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have Missy Gannon. This is one of the only holes of the day that we have a FPO tee pad. I think it is the only one.
There might be one or two others, but it's hard to tell. I think we all are just so used to our tee pads.
Yeah.
I was feeling pretty jittery this morning, so I put a full crank on a Zeus there, and it's safe, it's fine, but I did not expect to be that far right off the tee.
Easy three, baby.
Yeah.
Fountain is on. There is definitely wind. It's crazy how when that fountain comes on, the wind really starts whipping. And it's not just a steady wind. It is a swirly wind. Mm-hmm. We see Evelina choose to lay up there. She's probably feeling that.
Great birdie to start off. Again, definitely a reachable hole for us, but it is a daunting hole for sure, especially being the first hole.
It's a par 3, but it's played at about 0.2 of a stroke over par. That's not too bad. As you can see, there was only 4 birdies on the day, and about 50% of the field with a par. So a great women's hole.
Mm-hmm. Hole 2 is a par 4, 703 feet. There are a few ways to attack this tee shot. I think a lot of the women are going up the gut, not this route that the drone is flying through, but that is also a very viable route if you have a nice forehand or if you really trust your turnover, power shot. But it's basically 2 big shots, 2 big drives, and hopefully you're close enough to just have a nice little pitch up. Some people are going to be able to get to the green on their second shot, but for the most part, a lot of us are just hoping to walk away with a 4 on this hole.
Yeah, there's a lot of water. If you hyzer out early or don't get your disc to turn over all the way, you will find water. It downhill slopes towards the water, so if it skips, it for sure is going in. There's also out of bounds the entire right-hand side of the fairway that can come into play as well. There's also wildlife all over the course.
Yeah.
We have to look out for. One big change on this tee is, I guess they had some sort of storm, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It took out the low-hanging tree branch on this hyzer line that you see Evelina taking with her destroyer. So it widened it up a lot for us to really be able to get max distance on our drives.
So yeah, I'm just trying to go pretty straight and a little bit wide off the tee here. I kind of like to be a little right in the fairway and try to get as much distance as I can. I was throwing a Zeus there.
I see, it looks like you're just magneting away from the water.
Yeah. These first 2 holes, I was like, yeah, I'm not going to have anything to do with that water.
Hailey looks like she feels the same. She's like, I'll stay over here, please.
Yeah.
Basically, you haven't played Fountain Hills until you've lost a disc on hole 2.
Right. So I'm pretty far out here, so I'm going another Zeus, trying to get a big, full power hyzer. And again, just hopefully have a nice pitch up from there. I did throw it a little bit too low, but it's past that big sign, which is has become a little bit of an obstruction.
New
this
to the
year.
course this year, yep.
Yeah.
It's the 50th anniversary of Fountain Hills Park, and they're celebrating it in a big way right in the middle of our fairway. This played as the most difficult hole on the course. No surprise here. It's a par 4, but it averaged at 4.82. So almost a stroke over par. One of the only holes on the course to do that.
Yeah, so Evelina had 2 great pulls, probably with the same destroyer, it looked like. So she should have a nice, easy putter approach to the basket. But again, the water is still pretty close. There's a little bit of a nice sort of island that jets out right by the basket, which will catch a couple of discs.
If it rolls.
Yeah. So it's definitely a daunting green for putting, but you definitely have a little bit more room than some of the other greens out here.
Paige uses her little distance thingy and still gets in circle 2. Just kidding. Hailey still a little shy of the water. She's well outside in circle 2, but we know she can hit that putt, even though it is a death putt. Major death putt on this green. It's crazy, this palm tree, where they put the basket, it's just a perfect little blocker for the hyzer approach. You really, to the fact that you're throwing a hyzer still there is a little sketchy.
Yeah, and I meant to go outside of the tree, but it's kind of a good aiming point. I was trying to just reference that, okay, throw a hyzer right at that tree, hopefully get around it, and you should be well inside the circle, but I'll be a little bit shorter than I want.
Hailey chooses to lay up instead of run at it. It's probably a smart play. No, the risk reward is pretty high here. Paige in the hunt for that 3.
Yep. So I'm just a few feet inside circle 1.
And this is for par?
This is for par. This is one of my bigger test putts so far, tester putts. So unfortunately, I hung it out a little bit right, but.
There were no birdies on the day on this hole. That does surprise me a little bit. But, yeah, it seems like the putting green can give people a little bit of the jitters.
Yeah.
Being so close to this steep drop-off. Moving on to hole 3, it's 294 feet. It's very, very slightly uphill. There's really tight out of bounds on the right, and left is a little bit more forgiving. It wraps around the backside of the basket, maybe coming inside the circle almost. It's our first elevated pin of the day. We are back to the Pro Tour lighthouses, and we'll see a lot of birdies on this hole, even with all of the trouble.
Yeah, and I do think that this is one of those must-gets for our division. This next stretch of a couple holes coming up are definitely holes that we want to capitalize on. Paige is throwing a nice little easy hyzer out there. She actually comes in a little hot and plays with that OB on the left backside, but fortunately stays in bounds.
is one of those holes after 1 and 2. You're okay with pars there, but this is one that you want to get the 2 on in the women's field. It's definitely one you want to capitalize on. Evelina puts hers inside the circle. She'll have a look.
Yeah, that was a great shot with a rock 3. I still have a little bit of tournament arm going on. So I'm trying to go Spike Heiser, and I just rip it.
Crush Town.
And
294.
294 park job. So, I'll take it.
A little bit of a headwind. You can see that flag flapping, but it was nothing crazy. Nothing really any of us are going to be thinking about.
Hailey went Spike Heiser with a Predator, left herself a little bit short.
Just outside the circle. Oh, catches the cage. Evelina threw an AVR 3 DX AVR 3 on this hole. I watched Henna also throw a putter. It's pretty cool to see the ladies throwing putters real far. Paige with a huge putt on the elevated basket, no problem, to really extend that lead.
I know we all know that she's such a great putter, but when she made that putt, I kind of had a feeling that it was going to be on today.
Evelina catches just a little low. Missy says, "What's up, Birdie Town?"
I said, "Okay, get myself back to even. Let's start over.
Start all over."
Yeah.
Hole 4.
Yeah.
This is the first hole that's averaged under par in the FPO field. 2.89. Pretty awesome to see. Katrina starting off super hot at this point, 4 down through 10, so she's got the lead on Paige, but she's also played a lot more holes, and there are a lot more birdies to come.
Hole 4 is a new hole to this course this year. It's a triple mando hole. It's only 250 feet, but when triple mandos come into play, you start thinking a little bit harder, and then you have that, the OB kind of close behind, just outside the circle, I think, on the backside. So a lot of us can get there with either a putter or a mid-range, just a nice straight shot. And once you hit right around the mando, you're just about at circle's edge. So Paige is throwing a banger GT, just hangs it out a little wide. It doesn't get the flip, and unfortunately misses the mando.
This is a pretty interesting ad. It's so short. It's 250 feet, so it's weird to see this type of hole, especially back-to-back after the last short under 300-foot par 3. But they had to create a new hole after they had some damage. Added a new bathroom to one of the holes in the corner. I think it was hole 6 or 7. So they were forced to squeeze in a hole out at Fountain Hills, and this does the trick. Definitely makes you think early in the round.
Yeah. So for me, I threw a buzz, and again, like I said, right at the triple mando, so I know I have about a circle's edge putt. Evelina throws a great shot. I believe that was a rock 3 again. Just absolutely parks it. Hailey throws a roach, just turns it over a little bit too much. It's a pretty straight flying putter, and just put a little bit too much on it.
The drop zone was right in between the mando poles. It was just outside the circle. Paige wanting to capitalize on that, get her circle 3, definitely is able to do that from this very forgiving drop zone. Oh, surprising to see neither one of them capitalize on that.
Yeah. And I'm only a few steps in front of them. Again, I was just past the drop zone, just around circle's edge. That felt good. Definitely felt like after the last hole in this hole, getting my putter going into these next holes felt really good for me.
We had about the magic number for stretch in the field, 25 below, 50 par, and 25 above. So what a great little hole to add there in the middle of the front 9.
Evelina with an easy tap in for the birdie. She's smiling. She's having a good time.
She's always having a good time. Fun fact, Evelina is hilarious. She comes across as shy, but she's actually the funniest person ever. Hole 5 is a par 3. It's a little bit of a long par 3. You won't see a lot of people getting onto the green, but we might see a couple on this card. It's 441 feet, but it's downhill. The only real trouble is the out of bounds little patch on the right in the garden there. And if you go throw over deep, the street is out of bounds as well. A lot of people aren't going to find that until their second shot, which is very scary with that tree and how close it is behind the basket.
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I have the tee box, so get to go first, but throw my Zeus a little bit too high. I kind of am trying to get up to the top of the hill, but a little bit farther than that. I'm not really trying to get there. I'm playing this hole for the 3, and I should have a relatively easy approach from there.
Isn't it funny how sometimes when you're trying to throw downhill, you just throw straight to the moon? It's backwards. Evelina ripping on a destroyer. It's way down there. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Catches a roll into that out-of-bounds gardens.
Yep. That is just one of those dangers for going for it, that there is that late hill there. And, I think it could have gone either way. She just kind of hit the hill at a weirder angle. But
It's crazy that it skipped over the curb.
yeah.
Paige throwing a perfect-looking hyzer shot.
Yeah, I believe she was trying to go like a similar line to Evelina, but just hangs it out a little bit too much on hyzer. But
She'll have to contend with that tree on the putt, which makes you, sometimes even forces you to have to lay up. Hailey doesn't look super happy with her shot, but she also doesn't really look happy with any shot that she ever throws.
see, and that was almost similar to Evelina's, but it just hit the hill a little bit differently and didn't get the unlucky roll. So I'm going Buzz OS here. I thought it was way too straight, but
Sweet little forehand.
yeah, I've been working on it.
That was a little touchy one.
Yeah, Paige was never going to be able to get the height on that. Those branches were right in her way, but a little layup for her par.
Hailey right on the edge of the circle, death putt, no problem.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, no birdies on the day for this hole. Not super surprising. There's only a couple people that I think would be able to reach it, and it would be a really aggressive play. Great par by Missy.
Thank you.
It's actually played as the second most difficult hole on the course.
Wow.
That's surprising, right?
Yeah, it is surprising.
57% at par and 43% above par. Whoa. I guess if Evelina's going to bogey it, really anyone could.
Yeah. Yeah, so unfortunate OB stroke there, but
This one's also tricky because of all the cars, and we see that a lot, pedestrians and cars, very often. Hole 6, it's a par 3. It's straight uphill. There is a line through this tree, but
Yes.
you will see nobody doing it.
that is a sucker gap, I think we would call it.
Yeah, definitely sucker gap. There's a big hyzer and there's a big anhyzer. Both of them are blind. You cannot see the basket from the tee pad. It's so far uphill and back on this sort of butte-shaped hill. There's a hill on the right-hand side that is super steep, and it just rolls straight downhill towards an out-of-bounds road, and then the sidewalk on the left is also out of bounds.
Yeah, you have to almost be aware of your angles on this one for sure, because if you hang it out a little bit too wide on that spike hyzer line, you could hit that steep hill on the right side of the basket and roll OB really easily. So I think I aired a little bit safer, and I ended up a little bit short just inside the circle.
Paige taking that Annie line.
Banger GT, yeah,
Oh.
nice little putter shot and just absolutely parks it.
Yeah, it's 233, and I would say it plays every bit of maybe 300.
Yeah,
Maybe a little bit less than that, but
yeah. So this is that wider line that has that potential to roll OB. Luckily, Hailey did stay
Grabbed.
safe, yeah.
man, she went past the basket too. Really crushed it.
Evelina going Firebird on that same big spike hyzer line, and also a great shot.
Action on the green, but lays down. Hailey has a huge putt, probably around circle 2. maybe
Yes.
just outside circle 1.
Yep.
Woo!
Yeah. That
Dang!
was sweet. Uphill too, she has to get a lot of power and a lot more height on that putt. So that was an awesome putt.
She did a lot of putting in the off season, so it's nice to see it paying off.
I've got the signature death putt on this hole, but I wasn't thinking about it. You know, I had to just focus in on the chains.
How
and
far was that?
That was just inside the circle.
Wow, that was
Yeah.
a great putt.
Evelina will clean up what looks like to be a star frame. So that's really awesome to see. I think that that's something that that we do expect at this level on holes like this. These are the ones, again, that we really need to get.
Yep, half the field got a birdie on this hole. I am not included in that. And we move on to another very short hole. You can see Katrina's still really dominating as she moves in through the back nine. But we still have a lot of holes to go here on this card.
Yeah, I believe Kat and Zoe were on the same card, so they're really sticking together and shooting really well.
This is such a scary hole. It's only 210 feet, but you can't see the little inch in of water just before the basket here. The green's only probably 30 feet wide,
Yes.
right? So you're just trying to pitch a putter, but it's just such a scary little touchy shot.
Yeah.
And the green is so skippy, so if you land anything not softly, it's going to skip or roll off the green.
Yeah, I'm a little bit too afraid of that straight putter shot, so I'm actually going to go overstable mid-range here on the wider hyzer line. Bank on that skip, bringing
works
me in
nicely.
Yeah. It's difficult to tell the distance because again, it's a little blind once you kind of get to the green, and so I thought I was way long, and I was pretty nervous. But
It's a line I haven't tried before, but I'm very intrigued by.
we were wondering what happened here because we thought it was short and it was going to be in the water, and it just sort of got this really nice skip up to the green. So I couldn't really tell, but it's safe. Hailey's going zone, and I believe Paige also went zone.
Catches some cabbage, lays down just outside circle 2.
Yeah,
It'll be a putt, but it is such a death putt, I doubt we'll see her run it.
yeah.
Evelina going with the forehand. Is that a rock 3?
It looks like a Cayman.
Cayman, okay.
Yeah.
Doesn't quite put it out over the water enough, which I can't blame her.
Yeah.
Oh, early.
Yeah. That unfortunately hit right where that water sort of dips in there, and just rolled back into the water.
Hailey pitches up just like we predicted. Evelina, I'm guessing, is going for this.
Yeah.
Trying to save that par. Doesn't quite commit to it.
Yeah, that was scary. Yeah, it did say safe, but when you got a little hyzer on your putt right towards the water, that
So
is
scary.
scary. Paige capitalizes on that birdie. I'm just a little bit closer than her, probably about 18 feet or so.
Nice. Death putt, and you still go for it hard. 25% of the ladies' field got birdies on this, but we get to see 50% of the ladies on this card take birdies. Pretty awesome. And look at those mountain views. This course is so scenic.
It really is really beautiful.
There's so many pedestrians out here enjoying the views as well, so it can be a little scary. But, I mean, to be honest, yesterday I didn't really have many issues with pedestrians or, they didn't really seem to come into play, I guess.
No, and I was actually kind of paying attention, and people were really respectful, and they were,
Almost
kind of asking,
excited.
like, do we wait? They were excited. They were aware. It was really cool.
On to hole 8. It's the second of the 3 peninsula holes in a row. It's a par 4. The play is to pitch up to either between these trees or left of this tree that's on the left-hand side. From there, if you get a far enough drive, you can go for it to where that person's putting out on the green, or you can pitch up safe in front of this little sticky tree, pitch across, and take your par. Either way is good. We're going to see a little bit of both, I'm sure, here.
Yeah.
And this is, I would say, the widest of the 3 peninsula holes, so there's a lot more landing zone than the one before and the one right after.
Yeah.
You can afford to be a little more aggressive if you want to.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm feeling really good. I've had the box for a couple holes, which gets the confidence up. Actually, throw one of my better drives that I've ever thrown on this hole. Sort of, if you can get past that big first tree and even off to the left, like I did, you can see the basket. You're on a little bit of an uphill, but it definitely helps with that confidence on that second shot.
Yeah, the greens or the fairway goes uphill pretty sharply and then back downhill before you get to the water just before the green. So it is a weird, if you don't get far enough down there, like where Paige kind of tangles up with this tree, it makes the second shot almost impossible because you're throwing blind and uphill, and then you want it to also crest nose down, downhill, and just, it's a tough shot. Hailey's going to also find the same tree, but pokes through.
Yeah, she got a lot of distance even after poking through that tree.
I found out halfway through this round yesterday that the 2 meter rule is in effect. I missed that in the players' meeting. This is one of the only tournaments that we'll see the 2 meter rule in effect that we play all year besides in California.
So where the first shots went more the hyzer route, Evelina actually bit off a lot more distance and went straighter to the right, or to the left, I'm sorry, with a destroyer and got a great distance up there.
Way on down there. That left side's really nice. Paige laying up.
She was going for it.
God.
Yeah, she went with Banger GT. She just didn't put enough on it and came up a little short.
She threw it so soft, it looked like she was just doing a little touch shot.
Yeah. That's another thing, too, that the depth perception out here, I think, is something that I was struggling with personally. I also kind of called an audible off of my original game plan because I was in such a good spot. I ended up going with a disc that was a little more overstable and came up a little short.
Hailey going for it for her second shot. Catches water, too?
I can't remember exactly if she...
I saw a splash.
Oh, yeah, then... Yeah, that's 3 OBs right
Oof.
there. Yeah.
Evelina just trying to ignore all of that. Oh my gosh. It lays down on the backside of the green.
That was a great shot. You could see she was set up so nicely, being way far to the left and really far up there. Paige just pitching up from the other side. I will be doing the same.
No problem.
Still smiling, always smiling.
I threw a drive that was a little bit better than I was used to as well. Oh, no. Yeah. And I had the same thing as you. Like, do I go for it now that I can see the basket?
Right.
It's one of those things where you really just have to stick to your game plan.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it is fun to take some risks during the round.
Yeah.
And this course is really good at forcing you to do just that. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Hailey crossed over on her second shot, so she was able to take it from the basket side of the water. Doesn't quite capitalize.
Mm-hmm.
Evelina with only par on the card.
Yeah, and that's great.
Getting a stroke back on the field. Yeah, the next hole does just what I was talking about. I mean, you can play safe, or, I mean, you can see the basket, so you can play aggressive if you want to, too, and it is a scary shot from that tee pad.
There's a forehand line to the left of those trees, or, you know, the straight gap where you have to hit that gap, and it's a little low ceiling, and it's downhill. The safe play would just sort of be a pitch up to the edge of the peninsula on the right side, and then pitch up again if you want to just walk away with your par. But again, it's also a 285-foot hole, so a lot of us are, you know, thinking about that birdie.
Evelina does the forehand route, but she goes down the middle.
Yeah, that was surprising to me as well.
Safe shot?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah. I mean,
Bites off a little without biting off too much.
yep.
Even though these are some really difficult holes, they're all only averaging about a quarter of a stroke over par. So the ladies are really just navigating the risk reward really well. Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Hang mine a little wide. I was definitely going for the green. I was still feeling myself. Again, it's the first round. I've sort of thought about trying to be more aggressive during these first rounds.
I like Missy Misdemeanor out here.
Paige was safe.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just outside the circle.
Yeah,
it looks
she's
like.
she's gonna find herself outside the circle.
Would have guessed Hailey would throw the forehand here, but you can see she's lining up a couple different options. Opts for the backhand. Keeps it low and linear, super safe.
Yeah.
Lands next to that tree, and she's going to just take her 3 on.
Yep. She just threw a zone there, so a nice little approach shot for the easy 3, hopefully.
Hopefully.
So I have a much longer shot. This
Yeah,
is basically
difficult.
reteeing. Yeah. And
Yes.
yeah.
Grabs on the gunite. Hailey does a little soft bid. I'm surprised to see her do that because the harder you land from a high putt like that, the more chance there is to roll, and all of these greens slope towards the water.
And unfortunately, I do believe that one caught the water.
No.
Yeah. So Paige here is actually quite a bit outside the circle.
Runs at it.
Puts a little floater up there,
Oh
and
my
it's just,
God. What a ham.
Yeah.
What a great two.
Yeah. Okay, first straddle putt of the day. I always straddle putt on uneven ground. I think it makes me feel a little bit more stable and steady. Unfortunately, I put a little bit too much want on it, and it did get the dreaded flip up and roll into the water.
That is so mean.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny how your first straddle putt of the day always feels a little wonky?
Yeah.
Hailey recovers, saves her bogey. Missy looking to do the same.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's double bogey because of my
Early
unfortunate tee shot. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, so that deflated me a little bit, but maybe it was good. Bring me back to
Super strong start, though.
Yeah.
Hanging tough with the queen, Paige Pierce herself.
Yeah.
And we wrap up the front nine. Hailey's having a little bit of a rough go, but hopefully we can see her pick up the pace in the back nine. And we watch Paige start to run away with it in the front nine. I'm Madison Walker.
And I'm Missy Gannon.
Thank you guys for tuning in with us, and come hang out with us on the back nine as well at Fountain Hills.